Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Ms. Acevedo, could you please read our mission statement?
Certainly. Working together as a community, our mission is to welcome all and provide opportunities for our students in a safe and accepting learning environment to become creative, empathetic, resilient, and who choose to make an impact.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
For those who wish to make public comments remotely, a Google form was posted on the district website at 6:30 p.m. Those remote comments will be addressed in the second public comments section. This meeting, which is hereby called to order at 6:34 p.m., is in compliance with the notice requirements of the law. Public notice was posted in the office of the Board of Education and communicated to the municipal clerk and the Daily Record on January 15, 2025. Will you please stand and join me in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I please have a roll call?
Ms. Acevedo,
Here.
Ms. Downs,
Present.
Mr. McCord,
Present.
Ms. Phillips, Ms. Pinellas,
Here.
Dr. Sinner,
Present.
Ms. Shower,
Here.
Ms. Solness, Mr. Miller.
Here. Okay, we have some presentations. Our first presentation is our audit presentation. Mr. Stephen Welcoats from Welcoats and Company.
Yes.
Sure.
Good evening. Okay,
Yeah.
working. I'm here to briefly discuss with you your audit for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2024, and the results of that audit. As you well know, this was our first year with the district. The business administrator started late October, I believe, of 23, so he was partially in the year, partially not in the year. And I have to tell you that, number one, we've issued an unqualified opinion on the financial statements of the district for the year ended June 30, 2024, a clean opinion. And in the audit management report, there's 5 findings, all of which are compliance-based, none of which have anything really to do with the financial operations of the district. I'd like to thank the business office and their staff for all the help they gave us during the course of the audit. We kind of get in the way of the day-to-day activities of the office, so we appreciate all the help we got from the staff. And again, your fiscal position at the end of the year was good. There was some excess surplus. You maintained your capital reserve. You've got a nice emergency reserve. So you ended the year in very good financial position. And again, on the comments and the recommendation side, if this were not a dual financial and compliance audit, you would not have had any findings. And none of them rose to be material in nature. Again, if it wasn't a dual audit with compliance, there would have been no findings. And with that, I'd be happy to try to answer any questions from the board members.
Any questions? I guess that's pretty easy then.
When it's all good news, usually it is pretty easy. I thank you very much. I know we tried to do this last month, but unfortunately, my schedule was such, and I appreciate you taking the time to listen to my little presentation this evening. I thank you all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Jaime, would you like to introduce the next one?
Yes, the next person I would like to introduce is Mr. Pat Pandolfo. He will be presenting on student safety data system.
So I'm the Director of Student Intervention District Testing. I am also the ABC, the Anti-Bullying Coordinator. And part of my duties is I'm the person that receives the SSDS reports from the principals and puts it in the SSDS system. That's Student Safety Data System. And that is the collection tool that the state uses to make sure that schools are reporting any type of suspension, and suspensions like they call it basically an exclusion, where it's either in school or out of school suspension, but also in the data is HIB confirmed, which most of the time there is some type of suspension attached to it, but not always, and HIB alleged, and that's any report that an HIB investigation was started. And sometimes there's removal, a suspension related to that. Sometimes there's other discipline related to that, and sometimes there's no, depending on the case, there's no discipline at all. So next slide. All right, so the state requires that the district reports to the Board of Education twice a year, because there's 2 different reporting periods. And we're required to report the period from the previous the previous one. So obviously we're in period 2 now. This is from period 1 that ran from September to December. So as you can see, there were 123 total SSDS reports, and 36 were considered incidents, 46 were other incidents leading to removal, and 42 were HIB alleged, meaning there were an HIB investigation, but it did not meet the threshold of HIB. Under incidents, there's subcategories, 17 HIB confirmed, 13 violence, 3 vandalism, 2 weapons. The other incidents leading to removal is things that fall under code of conduct that were worthy of a suspension. A lot of times it's jeopardizing the safety of others. Some of it has been cursing at a teacher or cursing at a principal, things of that nature, using obscene or profane language. But also under that is any vaping violations that are not confirmed substance violations. And I know Mr. Miller asked in September, because I think for the year last year was around 150, and he asked me to estimate, and I didn't have the number in front of me, and I estimated the number of vaping violations, because vaping was really an issue last year. And I said half. It was more like a third. It was closer to a third. Now, of the 46 that you see up there, it's only about 1/5 of them, about 20% of them are vaping violations. So the vape detectors really, for the most part, have worked. The students have gotten the message, but unfortunately, there's definitely an uptick in other types of suspensions leading to removal. Next slide. So if for comparing last year at the same period and this year's period 1, we had 117 total last year. We had 123 total reports this year. We went down, 5 down in violence, 2 more in vandalism. There were no substance violations reported in the first period, but you can see that other incidents leading to removal spiked quite high, especially considering that the vaping went down. And HIB alleged, HIB reports are up by a little bit, and HIB confirmed cases are up by a little bit. Next slide, please. So this is the last slide, just comparing the schools from this year to last year. You can see that Dover High School has gone down, and that's most likely because of vaping. The middle school has gone up pretty significantly. Academy Street has gone up. Eastover is down because their HIB cases are mostly down. North Dover is up because their HIB cases are mostly higher. So that's kind of the explanation of why those numbers are the way they are. And that's really the end of all the data I'm reporting tonight.
Any members of the board have questions?
I have a question, if I may. Mr. Pandolfo, when you mention other incidents leading to removal, does that include in-school suspension and out-of-school suspension?
These are in-school and out-of-school suspensions. There's a lot more, honestly, in-school suspensions and out-of-school suspensions, but in-school suspensions have to be reported as well.
Okay, thank you.
Dr. Sainer?
This question is for either Mr. Pandolfo or Mr. Jaime. As we look at certain schools or certain types of incidences that have gone up, what is the district's response to that in terms of looking at, okay, there's an uptick in incidents in a certain school or of a certain type? How is the district using that data and changing what we do to try to decrease those either total incidents at a school or a type of incident across the district?
I can jump on that question, and Mr. Pandolfo, you could jump in as well. Using some of the information has led for us to do more intimate assemblies within the classroom presentations, where our counselors or our Tiger rep are going in to discuss, proper social norms, cyber safety, and things of that nature. Also, we are using reflection sheets during our consulting with counselors, because it allows our students and our counselors to look at some of the reflection pieces and allow to have further conversation, as opposed to sometimes not having something to build on, right? Because our students tend to maybe be guarded. But with a reflection sheet, it allows our students to be able to share the thoughts with the counselor. The counselors use that information to provide more strategies or suggestions, and even as well information for our families and our parents. In terms of anything regarding cyber safety, it allows us to also bring the parents in on those conversations as well, and the administration to also discuss anything within their buildings. So how do they promote that information out to our families? And I just want to try to didn't forget anything, because we do put a lot of work into the social and emotional support for all students. It also allows for our Tiger rep to also be more purposeful in how they're with our students. They also go in to do presentations with school counselors, also on anything that has, let's say, for example, there's an uptake, let's say, on any comments being made towards the LGBTQ community. We definitely do an awareness with our students and understanding the alphabet. So we use that data as much as we can to make sure that we're being proactive within the classroom, or if it's necessary to have a full assembly as well.
And Mr. Jaime, if I may, also there's certain students in certain populations sometimes that are more involved in HIB, whether they're offenders, targets, witnesses. They just seem to be around it more. So I know some of the students that need individual attention have actual intervention plans to try to be proactive in that way. And then there's also different social groups that try to be proactive in making sure that the students are, like Mr. Jaime said, reflecting. So when they're working with the counselors. So we do try to make sure that we're proactive rather than reactive, because we do know there are certain populations within the school that seem to be more recidivist than others.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pandolfo. All right, and next we have our student athlete presentation. Mr. Bullock.
Good evening. First, I'd like to thank the Board of Education and Mr. Jaime for the opportunity to recognize one of our outstanding student athletes here at Dover High School. This winter, we had two student athletes reach tremendous milestones in the athletic world. Our first recipient or student that we want to recognize this evening is a wrestler here at Dover High School. He just finished off and capped an outstanding career representing the Dover school community and Dover High School and the wrestling program. This young man reached a milestone of 100 wins in a career over his 4-year span here on the wrestling mat for Dover High School. Only one other wrestler in the history of Dover has achieved that. So he's left his mark in a tremendous fashion. This young man finished his career with 105 wins and 38 losses, which is just absolutely tremendous. This season he was a finalist in the Morris County Championship, wrestling for Dover High School. He was a district medalist, and he's the first wrestler in over 25 years that accomplished qualifying for the New Jersey State Wrestling Championships and represented our school community in Atlantic City and did an outstanding job and battled tooth and nail with the best wrestlers, not only in New Jersey, but across the country. Our student athlete that I'd like to have up here this evening to recognize and award with a plaque for this outstanding milestone is Jaden Mendez. So Jaden, could you come up and be recognized? Can I also please invite Mr. Miller and Mr. Jaime up to present this? I'd also like, Jaden's been fortunate, he has a tremendous support system with his parents that are here this evening. I'd like to have them please come up as well for some photos. And we have our wrestling coach, Mr. Will Dodd, as well. We could just have a round of applause for that outstanding accomplishment.
Okay, so now we're moving
Excuse
on
me.
to our first public comments. Oh,
Mr. Miller,
oh, that's right.
I'd like to say something about Jaden.
Sure.
It has been an absolute, it has been an absolute pleasure to watch the Dover High School wrestling team grow and develop over the past 2 years, while my son has been a part of the program. Under the leadership of Coach Dodd, Coach Goebel, and Coach Mulder, the team has demonstrated remarkable dedication and progress. This season, the senior captains, Jaden Mendez, Angel Bonilla, and junior captain Matt Lay, have played an instrumental role in fostering teamwork and excellence. One moment that stands out to me from the 24-25 season was during a tri-match at Nutley. One of our wrestlers was struggling to secure a pin when, from the sidelines, Jaden got down on the floor at the mat level and called out, "Lean into his shoulder." Within seconds, our wrestler followed the advice and sealed the pin. It was a perfect example of leadership in action, and a testament to the strong camaraderie and Jaden's mentorship within the team. As we celebrate Jaden's outstanding individual achievement of reaching 100 career wins, it is important to also recognize that while wrestling is often seen as an individual sport, Jaden was always there for his team. His leadership, encouragement, and commitment to his teammates have been invaluable. It has truly been inspiring to watch these athletes grow, both as competitors and as young men. and I look forward to seeing the continued success of the DHS wrestling program. Thank you.
Thank you for those kind words. That was really good, thank you. Okay, so we are coming to our first public portion of the evening. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters. To ensure fair and orderly expression of such comment, each statement shall be held to a time period of 3 minutes. Public comments limited to items on this agenda shall be entertained for approximately 30 minutes upon the discretion of the presiding officer. Please understand that public comment portions of our agenda are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather they are offered as opportunities to share your thoughts with the board. The board may or may not respond to public comments. However, all comments are considered and will be investigated and addressed as appropriate. Please be courteous and mindful to the rights of others when providing comments. Comments may not be abusive, obscene, threatening, or irrelevant. Please understand that students and employees have specific legal and privacy protections. The board is not permitted to respond to public comments about students or employees. Please be advised that you are commenting at your own risk. Any public comments that are directed at a particular individual or individuals could subject you to legal liability for defamation. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the board? Please stand and state your name and address. Seeing no one, we shall close that portion of the meeting for the public. Do we have approval of minutes?
So moved.
Second.
Second. Any questions or comments? Okay. Can we have a roll call?
Ms. Asueto,
Yes.
Ms. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. McCord,
Yes.
Ms. Pinellas,
Yes.
Dr. Sinner,
Yes.
Ms. Shower,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes. I'm not aware of any board communications, whole board communications. Did you see anything? Okay. Now, I'd love to hear from our student representative, Mr. Lay.
Good evening, everyone. Recently at the high school, we have had some interesting and fun events take place, like our blood drive, which was a success, along with our musical Little Shop of Horrors. In the next upcoming weeks here at the high school, we have AP practice exams from Tuesday, March 25th through Thursday, March 27th. There's also a summer and job and volunteer fair, March 27th, in school periods 1 through 3, sponsored by Tiger Rap. Then here at the high school on April 1st, there's SAT testings for all juniors, which then leads up to our Dover Olympics event going on. Recently, we had teachers from our organizations, from student government, go out to visit Tenafly High School to observe their school Olympics for ideas. There, the teachers have gathered many interesting ideas that we could implement here at our Olympics. Some were schedulings, like for day-to-day activities here for our Olympics, and also a really fun and interesting one, like creating banners for each grade that include their theme color and also some type of theme, like a mascot or whatever the students decide to come up with. And also recently here at Dover, our partnership with the Brain Injury Alliance of New Jersey, or the BIANJ, the students here at Dover decided we were going to address the traffic issue that is taking the left turn out on West Clinton and White Street leaving the high school. Our main solution as of right now is to get a traffic cop to monitor the traffic in that intersection. However, as of right now, we had just finished a short video that we sent into the BIANJ about our campaign to fix this issue. Along with our campaign, we had also come up with our slogan, which is "Drive with care, Dover's safety is in the air." That is all for now. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Dr. Sainer?
No questions, just a comment. I absolutely love when students advocate for anything that is useful or beneficial to the community. So that's a really great partnership, and thank you to all the students who participated.
Thank you.
Matthew's brought up a something that I don't think we've heard about in a while, and I'm not sure if Mr. Jaime has any news on it, but the stoplight that was supposed to go at the intersection of, is it
It was supposed to be
Grace? And yeah, do we have any? I haven't heard about that for a while. It's a county thing, I know. I didn't know if this was something that you've been looped in to by the town or by the chief of police.
Mr. Miller? I can give some insight on that. I've been in touch with Aura Dunn in reference to this, and she did some research, not only with the town, but with the State Department of Transportation. And this was before the sinkhole situation also. This was right after the holidays. She contacted me, and she said that as far as the State Department of Transportation's calendar, there is no stoplight on the calendar, even though I was told it was being installed in July of 2024. And she also spoke with the town, the Dover Police Department, and they said they don't know what's going on at this point. So she was going to keep me in the loop, and she promised she would not let it go. So let's hope something happens
Thank you for
in
that.
our lifetime.
May I?
Sure.
You mentioned the Little Shop of Horrors. I was able to attend with my family on Friday and was completely impressed by the production. Very creative. The plant was awesome. And kudos to all who were involved. Thank you.
I also have some. So, with the stoplight at Grace Street, in the beginning, we did have, I think those were one of the issues because we had to address parking here. It was either coming down Grace Street or it was leaving that intersection. And we decided to go with leaving that area. But my teacher and the organizers of this, they were also mentioning that later in the future, along the lines, we could also bring up this issue if this is something that everyone in the community would like. We can bring it down the line and bring it to like the town, talk to like the school here and everything like that.
Yeah, no, I would say that whole stretch,
Yeah.
and not just on Clinton Street, even a block in towards the high school can be a bit hairy at
Yeah.
times. Don't ask me how I know. So any attention that you all can provide to that and light shined on it will be helpful, because ultimately there are more of you driving to school.
Yeah.
Right, and so it needs to be safe for everybody, but especially for you. So thank you for what you're doing.
No problem.
Okay. Give the board's president's report. It's been another extremely busy month for our board and our committees. There's been a lot of focus on our budget. State aid figures came out a few weeks ago. While we received some additional state aid, it unfortunately does not fully offset the rising fixed costs such as healthcare insurance, utilities, and salaries. As we look ahead to the 2025-2026 school year, I want to assure you that the Board of Education remains committed to developing a fair, equitable, and fiscally responsible school budget. Our goal is clear: meeting the educational needs of our students while honoring the contributions of our taxpayers. We deeply understand the importance of balancing educational excellence with financial prudence. Every decision we make is driven by our commitment to providing all Dover students with the resources, programs, and support necessary for their academic and social success. In the coming weeks, we will diligently review every aspect of our budget with a strong emphasis on transparency and community engagement. We value the input of parents, educators, students, and community members, recognizing your voices as essential in shaping the future of our schools. A few years ago, the Dover community voted on a referendum to fund a $69 million district-wide building project intended to add classrooms at Dover High School and construct a new middle school. Although this proposal aimed to comprehensively address our students' needs, it was ultimately voted down by the community. We heard your message clearly, and since then, the board has diligently sought alternative solutions to provide essential classroom space while also reintroducing preschool services here at a reduced cost. We have identified 2 promising initiatives that will accomplish these goals at a significantly lower cost compared to the original referendum. First, the purchase of the former Dover Sport Building across from East Dover and Dover Middle School will allow preschool students to return to district facilities, saving approximately $1.5 million annually and enhancing curriculum alignment through in-district teaching staff. Secondly, constructing the 6th grade annex adjacent to North Dover will centralize all 6th graders, effectively preparing them for middle school and simultaneously alleviating classroom overcrowding across our elementary schools. Further details will be presented along with a complete budget proposal at our next board meeting in April. Together, we remain dedicated to fostering a stronger, more inclusive educational environment for every student in Dover. And we thank you for your continued trust and partnership in these important efforts. Administrative reports, Mr. Jaime.
Okay. I want to kick off first with number 1, good evening, buenas noches a todos. And our Culture and Climate Connection Committee, John, did I get that correct? All right, thank you. We had this upcoming week, we had a meeting where we were introducing Thought Exchange, which is right behind me. Thought Exchange is a new program that we're going to start using. And what Thought Exchange is an interactive platform that allows us to engage with our community on key issues by sharing thoughts and prioritizing ideas of others in a collaborative manner. This tool will engage us to conduct real-time surveys where participants can anonymously contribute their thoughts and rate ideas shared by others. The result is ranked list by priorities that reflects the collective input of our community. And our goal with implementing Thought Exchange is to enhance transparency, increase participation in district decision making, and ensure that every voice can be heard in a structured and meaningful way. We believe this tool will be instrumental helping us identify and address the most pressing needs and ideas from our stakeholders. We also used the program to upload our last results from our last survey. As a committee, we were able to see the results, and I did share those results with the district so that our district can see that their voices are being heard and how it's being analyzed in order for us to make better decisions as we continue to move forward with our district. I want to highlight our esports at Dover High School. We are thrilled to share a remarkable journey and the achievements of Dover Tiger esports team. Within a short period, we have established ourselves as a formidable presence in one of the state's fastest growing esports scenes. The timeline of success, and I'll share a little bit. The initial gathering of our journey began the first meeting in October 9th. The quick organization, we quickly moved to function a team meeting by October 15th. They debuted in the first competitive meet was on December 4th against Oak Crest High School in Street Fighter 6. Big fan. Impressive record. We enjoyed an undefeated regular season and made a strong showing at our Winter 25 playoffs, reaching the quarterfinals. We also designed our uniforms that properly present DHS as at all the events. And for our current endeavors in esports and future outlook, in the spring we are actively competing in the SSBU Smash Brothers and Moral Rivals with a current record of 1-1. And we are creating now more digital footprints. We are you can catch highlights and game footage on our new YouTube channel. And for infrastructure development, we are using makeshift space at the back of the library currently now, and we look to establish a permanent home for the team and enhance the current location. So we're very excited about the efforts of our esports, and congratulations again to them to having a successful fall season, and I look forward to see how they do in the spring. Our Dover High School play was this past weekend, Little Shop of Horrors, as Ms. Down had mentioned, also Mr. Lay had mentioned. The play was a success. It was amazing to see all the work that our students and staff have put in, so kudos to everyone. The cast did an amazing job singing and performing on stage. Amazing courage to do that. And to our community, thank you for coming on and supporting our kids in their endeavors. This month, March marks Women History Month, and in this month we celebrated Women's History Month, and our schools are proud to host a series of educational and inspirational activities designed to honor the contributions of women throughout history. We are excited to offer diverse programs that include trivia, specialized lesson plans, dedicated acknowledgements, and arts and music classes. So in trivia, we had fun-filled, informative trivia about pivotal moments and figures in women's history. Lesson plans. Teachers develop specialized lesson plans that focus on achievements of women in science, politics, arts, and more. These lessons aim to provide a deeper understanding of the vital role women had in shaping our world. And then arts and music. Our teachers will highlight women artists and their contributions to the world of art, and to see featured works, discussions, and influential female artists and other unique perspectives. We look forward to a month filled with learning celebrations, and we continue to finish off the month and join all the activities that participated and acknowledge the invaluable contributions of the women throughout history. Read Across America, I would like to thank all of our participants in the community and the district participating in Read Across America. I have to share a funny story. I volunteered to read at Delk 2 as well as North Dover. At Delk 2, I had the opportunity to follow up a helicopter pilot as they shared their experiences as a helicopter pilot. And then when I sat down to talk to the preschool students, they asked me, what did I fly? Unfortunately, I said nothing. The superintendent of schools, and the kids said, what is that? And I was like, okay, well, it's like being the principal, and it wasn't as exciting as a helicopter pilot, so needless to say, I didn't want to follow up that individual for the rest of the day. But then I also was invited at North Dover to be the mass reader. There were several staff members that joined in, and they were disguised themselves in several costumes, from leprechauns to unicorns, Grinch, wolves, and even Olaf from Frozen made an appearance. The staff read excerpts from popular books, but keeping their identities a secret, and while having an opportunity to guess who's behind the mask based on reading a few playful hints. And the presentations were given out through a slide, and the kids had to take a guess. I have to say the assembly then put together for the kids to us reveal ourselves who were the masked readers. The kids were excited, screaming. My ears were ringing a little bit just from how loud the kids and excited they were. I have to say that the upper grades did a good job at identifying me. The lower grades thought I was Mr. Hoyt. It was very unfortunate to disappoint them, but nevertheless, they had a good time, and I thought it was a good showing of our staff coming together and participating in something, and that really showed our unison and our love for reading within our schools. And I really look forward to hopefully participating in it next year. So I have to already start thinking about what my next costume is going to be. I was dressed up as the leprechaun, so that was fun. We had our dual language visit recently. We had our visit down at a different district, and we had an opportunity for our teachers and administration to really observe dual language program in action. This experience allowed us to engage in meaningful discussions about the challenges that we face and strategies to implement to address them. It was truly an eye-opening for everyone involved to see while we are making significant strides and accomplishing great things, there are still areas where we need to focus and our efforts to grow. And this visit has a reinforcement of our commitment to enhancing our educational offerings and continue to improve our approach in the bilingual education. Sixth grade annex building, I want to provide an update for the community. We are pleased to announce a significant step forward in enhancing our educational facilities and programs, while also respecting the financial concerns of our taxpayers. After careful consideration and community feedback regarding the previously proposed $69 million referendum, we opted for a more economical solution. And I want to highlight a few of those things, right? The cost savings, we revised our plan to a $12 million building, which is less expensive option. It will not only meet and exceed our needs for space, but also program growth. Enhanced educational spaces, the new plan addresses our crucial need for more space, particularly at the elementary and middle school, allowing for our elementary specials to be taught in a classroom and not on a cart, as well as providing more electives for our middle school students. For special education, and bring back special education students back to in district. We anticipate a significant cost of savings, but this also will also provide these students with a better tailored educational support within our community. And programming, the expansion of the range of electives, once again, as I mentioned previously, at our middle school, which currently offers courses in coding, art, and Spanish. This will allow our students to receive more electives at the elementary schools in the classroom, as well as electives at a middle school level that are reflective of that of our Dover High School. So we're very excited at that opportunity. And I just want to make sure I met all of those pieces, and that is all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Dr. Sainer?
Thank you, Mr. Jaime. That was extensive and just a whole lot of good news. So really great to see. As you were speaking, I wanted to chime in on how amazing the performances were at Little Shop of Horrors, but also to acknowledge the students who were behind the stage or in the booth who made that performance possible by working as a team, and also to acknowledge the staff members. There were an incredible number of staff members who made that happen. The director, the teacher in charge of light and sound, the teacher who helped our students choreograph. We had administrators as well as teachers in the pit. We had makeup, costumes, the set design. So an incredible number of staff and parents, all of these people working together to make really incredible performances happen.
And I would like to add the gentleman who was in the plant costume, which took a lot of effort to move that mouth and make sure it was on tune. So that was impressive, very impressive. And the last piece I want to do is I want to do an acknowledgement. And I'm going to have Ms. Gibbs just join me really quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry, my apologies. I just want to make a quick acknowledgement. We have two individuals that we want to recognize this evening, Ms. Sushauer and Mr. Miller, for 15 years of service on the Board of Education. That was something we received, so congratulations on 15 years of serving on the Board of Education.
They're beautiful.
And the last piece, also want to acknowledge, I know Ms. Maria Salinas is not here tonight, but Victoria Polenas, you made your first year as board members as well. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Miller, I just wanted to say thank you very much for this. This is an honor. I really appreciate it. But I also wanted to add that I was very honored to be invited and able to read at Eastover Elementary School for Read Across America, because it had been about 7 years since I had done it, and I really enjoy that. I read to 3 different classes, and it was first grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade, and I had never read to a 5th grade class, so I really had to dig deep and borrow some books from one of my children for that grade level, and they were engaged. Our kids were absolutely awesome, and the school, I had not been in Eastover in quite a while, other than my tour, when Mr. Jaime and Mr. McCauley took me on my tour. But to actually be in the classrooms, it was a wonderful experience, and I'm always so proud of our kids, and they did a great job, and our staff was knocked down, dead awesome. They were great. They were really great. So I appreciate the opportunity.
I'm still trying to figure out who are these flowers for. There's nobody here. Okay. Our business report.
Good evening. I'll be talking about the finance agenda items. The first one is item 7. On the agenda, we can see that our cash in cafeteria account increased a little over $80,000. I used to get some questions about some of the board members that is it allowed. We are allowed up to $817,000. We can keep that amount in our cafeteria account with no problem with the state. It's good to have some cash in there so we can get some projects done in the cafeterias and kitchens. We had walk-in freezer done from this funds last year in the high school. Item 8, the 2025-26 tentative budget will be submitted to the county tomorrow, hopefully to this approval. while our state aid numbers came in very low, we are still able to maintain all the instruction programs for the 2025-26 school year. We are continually working on projects to find ways to save money. Item 15, the contract with our food service management company, Pamptonian, is up for renewal for 2025-26 school year. Item 16 is the official award of mobiles for our 6th grade annex project. The contract will be under Education Service Commission co-op, so it doesn't require bidding. Item 18 shows the bid results for high school generator project. We recommend awarding the contract to Maynard 2 Electric Incorporation for the amount of $464,000, which is the lowest responsible bid. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Sabahulu? Okay. Move on to the Board of Education reports. The Morris County Educational Services Commission attended the meeting last week, and we approved a $48 million budget. Dr. Sainer, legislative report.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. There was one new law signed by Governor Murphy. The temporary relief of posting public notices was signed into law on Friday, February 28th, after being passed by the full legislature over the last week. The law provided that a newspaper eligible to be used by a public body in 2024 for the purpose of complying with the Open Public Meetings Act or other public notice or legal advisement requirement, including for providing adequate notice of a meeting and being designated as an official newspaper, is deemed eligible for the same purposes from January 1st, 2025 to March 2025, regardless of the physical or digital format for the newspaper's publication. And this newly signed law extends the expiration of that law to be June 30th, 2025. Some items moving through the state legislature are the cell phone and social media policy would require cell phone and social media guidelines to be developed by the New Jersey Department of Education and a policy to be adopted by each school district. Under the bill, the commissioner would develop guidelines applicable to students enrolled in grades kindergarten through grade 12 concerning student use of cell phones and social media platforms. The amended bill clarifies that the commissioner shall consult with various stakeholders, including the NJSBA, when creating the guidelines. I think it is also noteworthy to address that the United States Department of Agriculture canceled over $26 million in previously committed funding that would have supported producers across New Jersey in providing fresh, locally sourced food to our schools and food banks. The New Jersey Department of Agriculture will not be receiving $9.9 million in local food purchase assistance funding over $16.2 million in local food for schools cooperative agreement funding for fiscal year 2025. This program, which is now unfunded, aimed to strengthen the food system with an emphasis on purchasing from historically underserved producers and processors and bring fresh fruits and vegetables into our schools. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Morris County School Board's report.
Mr. Miller? I'm
Yes.
sorry, I just had a quick question. It was actually a follow-up. We had brought up the subject of that farm to table cut by the federals to Mr. Sabagulu, and he was going to check with Pomptonian to see if it affected their service.
The local food service program, actually we get some fundings for it. It's, I could say like $3,000-4,000 a month, but it's not a big impact for our size.
Oh,
It's going
so
to be
it's-
low impact.
So it has impacted us, but it's a low impact.
It's very low impact. Yes.
So since we do have some money in the cafeteria fund, can we supplement that program since we have now lost it from
Local
those
food
funds?
service program? Are we talking about the same thing? That's a good
I
question.
believe Ms. Shower is talking about the local food to schools
The
program.
food, the
Yes,
farm
yes,
to
same
table?
thing. Yes, farm to, I mean, I can talk to Pomptonian if we still want to buy it from them. We can
Since we do have the extra funds in the cafeteria fund, can we supplement it? And if they could just give us a cost for what that would
Yes, we
be?
can talk to them, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Downs.
Good evening. There has not been a meeting for the MCSBA. However, the 2025 Unsung Heroes, Morris County Unsung Heroes, will be on Wednesday, April 2nd at Morris Knolls High School in Denville. The Unsung Heroes recognize students who have made a lasting impact through their unique and outstanding contributions to their schools and communities. Their efforts, often overlooked by traditional student recognition programs, are essential in helping our schools and communities thrive. We aim to honor and celebrate these remarkable contributions. Our own DHS student, David F. Guevara Argueta, will be honored at this event. If you would like to attend, register on the NJSBA site. On May 7th at Mount Olive High School, they will be having the 3rd annual Nancy Hellberg Memorial Recognition Ceremony dinner meeting. They'll have board member celebrations. The nominees of the 4th annual Irene M. Lefebvre Excellence in Boardmanship Award will be honored and the winner will be announced. Student recognitions, we will honor many students throughout Morris County with scholarships, unsung hero awards, tuition to CCM, and much more. They will also hold their elections. We will get updates from Dr. Tom Connors from the NJSBA. He will be joining us to celebrate the past year and to bring greetings from the NJSBA officers. And Assemblywoman Ora Dunn will once again join us to extend greetings on behalf of the New Jersey Legislature. If you're planning on attending, please register at NJSBA. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Moving on to administrative approvals, do I have a motion to approve items 1 through 2?
So moved.
Mrs. Shower, do we have a second?
Second.
Mrs. Acevedo? Any comment, questions? Roll call, please.
Ms. Acevedo?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. McCord?
No on HIB NDE number 24 and NDE number 26. Yes on the balance.
Ms. Pinellas?
Yes.
Dr. Sinner?
Yes.
Ms. Shower?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Dr. Sander, can you please move personnel?
Yes. I move that we approve items 1 through 16 under personnel.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any comments, questions? Dr. Sander?
I just wanted to comment on the really great titles for the sessions under the Ed Camp I believe it's coming up. Thank you to all the staff members that have volunteered to share your expertise with your colleagues. It sounds like an amazing day.
Anyone else? I'm excited about the girls' flag football team. I can't wait to see that. That will be a lot of fun. Okay. Roll call, please.
Ms. Acevedo?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. McCord?
Yes.
Ms. Pinellas?
Yes.
Dr. Sinner?
Yes.
Ms. Shower?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Moving on to negotiations, we continue to meet with the administrators, and we have another meeting scheduled in April. Ms. Downs, report on governance.
The Governance Committee met virtually on February 25th from 6:30 to 7:20. The committee members present were Ms. Downs, Mr. Jaime, Mr. McCourt, and Ms. Salinas. Ms. Phillips was the alternate to Mr. Miller as he was away. We discussed board progress on board goals and modified the quarterly goals report schedule. Goal 1, increased training for all board members. Ms. Phillips has contacted our field representative, Ms. Charlene Peterson, for availability for training on finance. We also discussed the possibility of obtaining the status of an NJSBA certified board. We currently have 11 of 16 credits. 2 of our current credits expire in July, so we are hoping to coordinate the training before the July expiration date. Ms. Phillips has asked Ms. Peterson about the possibility of training our board on the new board self-evaluation in the near future. Ms. Peterson will get back to Ms. Phillips with availability. Goal 2, to promote community and stakeholder engagement. Provide more opportunities for students, staff, and school communities to be recognized at Board of Ed meetings. This has been ongoing at our recent board meetings with the recognition of the volleyball team and young writers. We are exploring better ways to engage Mine Hill and Victory Gardens stakeholders. It could be a task for the Community Relations Committee to explore. Goal 3, promote and increase the board's efforts in sharing the factors that impact the district. Represent the needs of the district through advocacy on matters of concern at the local, state, and/or national level. Mr. Miller attended the Department of Education hearing in Somerset in January to advocate for equitable school funding. Continue to investigate, plan, and communicate options to address our district's space needs. We are currently working on the purchase of the Dover Sports Building on Route 46 to house our preschool and bring the preschool back into our district, as well as the grade 6 project at North Dover. Goal 4, the governance committee shall monitor and report on board goals on a quarterly basis. We modified the schedule as follows: March 2025, June 2025, August 2025, and December 2025. Policy P0153, annual appointments. Mr. McCourt discussed specifically the appointment of the delegate to the Educational Services Commission. It is listed on the agenda at the reorganization meeting. Mr. Miller previously stated that the appointment is done in July. Ms. Phillips said we could modify the policy to state that the position is appointed in July. Policy 0155, board committees. Mr. McCourt discussed the practice of setting up committees listed on the reorganization agenda. However, committees are not set up until the next regular board meeting in January. He proposed the possibility of setting up the committees prior to the reorganization meeting, and that the process could start once the results of the election are certified in November. Ms. Phillips stated that a possible option would be take the committee selection off the agenda at the reorganization meeting, since it would not be happening at that meeting. Mr. McCourt discussed the policy regarding board members' use of personal devices during board meetings. We agreed to review the draft that Mr. McCourt would provide. Committee members felt it should include an opportunity for board members to glance at their phones in case of an emergency of relatives or loved ones, and for board members to be able to check dates on one's personal calendar for setting up board dates. Would you like for me to read the proposed policies that Mr. McCourt?
So are we voting on that, or that's just part of the report?
Well, that's actually a question I have for the policy section of the agenda. So maybe hold that until then.
And then we can put it on the agenda for something
Yeah.
to vote on. Okay. All right.
So it just,
So we'll just save it for the next time so that we'll be ready for it to be voted on.
okay. The next meeting is to be determined. This concludes my report. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions? Dr. Sainer?
I'm sorry, I am now more confused. Are we voting on the proposed policy during the policy session, or are those policies being sent to the policy committee for review before they come to
This is the policy that the governance committee would propose for how we operate the board. So they just reported that they talked about it, but they didn't present it to be voted on tonight.
Okay, thank you.
So actually, and this was the question I was going to ask. It was presented at the policy meeting last week, and Mr. Jaime had mentioned that he was going to reach out to Strauss Esme to check on it. I'm assuming that it's not on the agenda for first reading tonight, because policy committee did approve the wording. I'm assuming it's not on the agenda tonight because we haven't heard back from them.
That is correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? But it wouldn't be the policy committee deciding, it's the recommendation of the governance committee. Only that section of policy, the 000 is the section that the governance committee would recommend.
Gotcha.
Okay,
Mr. Miller, I have a question.
sure.
Did the governance committee check with Mr. Crute, or with New Jersey school boards on any, I don't know what you would call it. There's a reason why reorganization is set up the way that it is every year for school boards. So I did some research in looking up, is there anything that stops you from not voting or stops you from voting on committees at the reorganization? And there is nothing except that our bylaws state that that's how we are set up. So we would have to change our bylaws. That's number one. Number two, most school districts set it up that way so that you can immediately, you're offering the committees to the new board members at the January reorganization as they're being sworn in. You're making the offer. And then they accept, you state, and then for, as in our case, instead of it being a second meeting in January, it's February, we would then assign, or you would, or the president would assign the members to the committee, and then boom, you start working. So they're really, the only lapse in continuity for the committees is January, because they meet in December, most likely. January, they do not because of reorganization, and then they start up again in February in most cases. So we would have to check with Mr. Crute, number one, to see how our bylaws have to be changed, and then number two, just checking with school boards to see, is this typical? Is this normal to change it? How many districts do change it? Is there a reason behind changing it? Is it good? Is it bad? I would just be curious of that.
I mean, I could give you a few thoughts without, looking at the current bylaws. Just in my experience statewide, committees are totally a board. It's a board issue. The committees are created by the board and it's governed by the board. So there isn't going to be any kind of state law or policy saying when you have committees or when you have to have committees. In my experience, committees are almost never done at the actual organization meeting, simply because with new board members coming in, they're not part of the board, they're not members of the board until they're sworn in at the organization meeting. So it would be unusual to have anything done. The only exceptions I can think of to that is some boards do have in their policies, and Dover's maybe even said this at one time, that the president appoints the members of the committee. And so there are boards that operate that way where the president just appoints them. And so theoretically that could happen, that the president could just do that at the organization meeting. But I think most boards go through a process where they want buy-in from and at least get input from the board members as to which committees they would like to be on, so I think it's very common in my experience with other boards as well that the subject may be brought up at the organization meeting, but the finalization may not happen until the following meeting.
And I think that you really need that time because people have different interests, and then some people have different levels of commitment, and it's hard to ensure that we have full coverage. And we also want to be sure that we have people that can take on leadership responsibilities of committees. And so it's kind of difficult to do that without actually having the dialogue, especially when you have new board members. We don't talk to them about any of that until they're sworn in. So it would be kind of hard to be able to do that.
I agree 100%. Historically, the only board members who really, it's an advantage to keep them on those same committees or any negotiation committees where you want consistency. So if you have open negotiations still and ongoing, you want to keep those same board members consistent with that, and then perhaps if you're adding a new board member to that. So that would be the only one that can be done perhaps ahead of time, say that committee will continue with the addition or the deletion of whichever board members are in and out.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion? Okay, we're going to move on to student achievement and curriculum. Dr. Sainer?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. We met on Wednesday, February 26th, virtually, to discuss the changes to the Gifted and Talented program. We discussed some of the results from the New Jersey Association of Gifted Children audit, and some of our own analysis where we were finding that some of the students in the Gifted and Talented program had high scores in either language arts or math but not in both. And so there were students who were not involved in the gifted and talented program who had scores higher than those students in the gifted and talented program in one of those areas. And so one of the goals of the reorganization of the gifted and talented program is to try to serve more students who show giftedness in the areas of language arts or mathematics. In order to do that, we are moving to a building-based model and providing gifted and talented services to students in grades 3 through 6. There will be some flexible grouping of those students based on their strengths, as I said, in language arts or in mathematics. And we will have dedicated gifted and talented teachers at each of the schools. We talked about how we are using both iReady data, the NJSLA, and our new Naglieri assessment to identify gifted students. And again, one of the shortcomings of our gifted and talented program was our lack of students who would be identified as twice exceptional, so students who are both gifted but also may have a learning disability, students in some subcategory populations that were underrepresented. And so again, we're trying to find a way to meet the needs of any gifted child in the district. We are going to move forward with a project-based program and also looking at using iReady to evaluate the success of the program once it's reorganized, and perhaps even asking the students to evaluate. If any parents listening are interested in the reorganization of the Gifted and Talented program, there is a Gifted and Talented Parent Night being held here at Dover High School on March 26th. We will next meet on April 8th. This concludes my report, and I move that we approve items 1 through 7 on the agenda.
Second.
Second. Any comments or questions? I have a comment. I'm just amazed what level of detail that the administrators and the teachers have to go through to try to figure this out. This is a very complex issue, but yet very promising to bring enriched learning to a wider group of students, which is very heartwarming to me.
And Mr. Miller, I was lax in not thanking. There's an entire committee of educators working on this, and so a special shout out and thank you to those educators who are giving of their time to make our students' education better.
Any other comments?
Mr. Miller, I did
Sure.
have a question. And this, I apologize if this is something that everyone else is already aware of, but I see under number 7, the ESY Dover Public Schools summer schedule. I was very interested to see that at the DELC 1 Center, Dover Early Learning Center, which is pre-K, that we do have summer school also. So I'm just interested, is this remedial or is this it's just an ongoing time slot for
It's
for
an
school?
ongoing. Wait, sorry. Special ed ongoing, yeah.
So it's special ed, okay.
Extended school year.
Extended school year.
For special ed?
Yeah.
So it's pre-K students, but special ed pre-K students? Great, okay, thank you very much.
I'm sorry, I forgot my actual questions. Regarding the summer programs, I have 3 questions. Where do North Dover students get their summer meals? Why is there no extended school year or summer programming at North Dover this year? And for those North Dover students who are, I saw in the agenda, I read more carefully, that are receiving their services at another school, are we providing busing for those students?
So to answer the first question, I'm sorry, is the first question again?
First question, I apologize.
Yeah.
Where do North Dover students get their summer meals?
Pumptonium.
But where do they physically go to pick them up?
They will be anything on site.
They get in the
Oh,
building.
sorry.
as far as-
Anyway,
yeah.
it's spread out to the district, correct?
It's
if I'm
not picked
mistaken?
up. Yeah, it's gonna be like wherever the building they are, it's gonna be coming to them.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And then the second question is why there is no extended school year or summer programming at North?
Because right now through the ROD grant, we're going to have construction done at the north, so we won't be able to host any summer school there.
Okay, so if students who live in the north region of our town are elsewhere, are we providing busing for those students for that program?
We are not, no.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Roll call.
Ms. Acevedo?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. McCord?
Yes.
Ms. Pinellas?
Yes.
Dr. Center?
Yes.
Ms. Shower?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Policy, Ms. Pinellas.
Good evening. No?
Me?
Oh, it's
What?
DC.
She can go first if she wants.
It's Community Advisory.
Community
Community
relations.
relations.
Oh, I skipped right over it. Sorry about that. Mr. McCourt.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Community Relations Committee met on Monday, the 4th of March. Present were myself, Ms. Pinellas, Ms. Phillips, and Mr. Jaime. We discussed the applications received to fill the vacancy on the Citizens Advisory Committee. I first want to thank everyone who submitted applications. It was a very tough decision to choose the best one out of the group. Ultimately, we did have to make a decision. We thought there may be more than one vacancy to fill, but ultimately there was just one, which I'll be moving that appointment momentarily. We discussed adding an attendance policy for the Citizens Advisory Committee to Policy 9140, which is on the agenda for first reading tonight. We also discussed one of the roles of the Community Relations Committee is to hold at least 2 community forums throughout the year. We were very grateful that Mr. Jaime was there because that allowed us to have a really fruitful discussion. At the moment, we are moving towards possibly holding a forum that is Victory Gardens specific in late April. And Mr. Jaime also said that he would investigate looking into the possibility of a student forum in late May, early June, before they check out entirely. And I think both of those are something that I think our community will respond well to, especially the student forum, which to my knowledge, that's not something we've done in the past. Our next Community Relations Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 1st, immediately before the next Citizens Advisory Committee meeting. That concludes my report, and I would now like to move approval of item 1, which is the appointment of Elizabeth Tapia to the vacant seat on the Citizens Advisory Committee for a term expiring on June 30th, 2025.
Second.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Acevedo?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. McCord?
Yes.
Ms. Pinellas?
Yes.
Dr. Center?
Yes.
Ms. Shower?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Ms. Pinellas, it's your turn.
Finally. Good evening. The policy committee met on March 11th at 6:30 p.m. We have, in attendance was Kim Phillips, Susan Shower, T.C. McCord, myself, and of course, Mr. Luis Jaime. For first reading, we have policy 5701 on academic integrity. It has been revised for this policy to define and explain plagiarism and as presenting work from another source without full acknowledgement that it is not their own work. It speaks on the prohibited acts such as fabricating data, providing false information, cheating, obtaining copies of examination, preventing other students from completing their assignments, using generative artificial intelligence, AI, in violation of policy 2365 and the district's AI plan, selling of assignments or any other conduct determined by the principal that compromises the academic integrity of a student's work. We also have policy 8500 on food services. It has been state mandated and revised to update extended eligibility for free meals. Free lunch or breakfast should also be offered to each enrolled student who is federally ineligible for free or reduced price meals who but who has an annual household income that is not less than 186% and not more than 199% of the federal poverty level as determined pursuant to NJSA. This policy also defines terms related to the policy, such as categorically eligible, eligible student, emergency meals, among others. We also have Policy 9163, Spectator Code of Conduct for Interscholastic Events. This is a new policy, and the Board of Education promotes a physically and emotionally safe and healthy playing environment at interscholastic events and insists on good sportsmanship to be exhibited at all times by student athletes, coaches, officials, and spectators at such events. This policy defines the expectation of students for in-home and away games. It is a guide, and it has a disciplinary framework of 4 offenses, listing first, second, third, and finally a suspension from attending the remainder of the season. Our district suggests 3 options. Also, this Policy 9140, Citizens Advisory Committee, as mentioned by Mr. McCourt, the Dover Board of Education recognizes the importance of meaningful parental and community input and advice. To that end, we are seeking assistance from community members who would like to become more actively involved in our schools and be part of a CAC. The CAC consists of 10 members from the public, partnered with members of the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed will appoint members of the CAC for a period of 10 months. This has been revised through a process that ensures representation from all facets of our community. We will have a new attendance portion, which indicates that any CAC member who fails to attend 3 consecutive CAC meetings without prior notification should be deemed to have resigned, and the committee considered this to be a fair agreement, so that we have members who want to participate and bring us ideas, and we want to encourage community members to be on the lookout when we send this invitation, so that you can also be considered for our next period. We also discuss a new proposed PED policy. I don't see the name. I'm also confused, the number yet. So I wanted to know if, because I don't see it on the agenda.
It's been submitted also for further review with Strauss SB for the PED one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I'm going to say what we talked about. The board member use of electronic devices at board meetings. The board is indicated to fostering public confidence in the operation of the school district by conducting well-organized and meaningful public meetings. The use of personal electronic communication devices during board meetings for private business or communication is considered distracting. Moreover, engaging in private communications that excludes other board members and the audience may lead to perceptions of suspicion and mistrust. Therefore, all personal electronic communication devices shall be silenced at all times during public and executive sessions on the board. For second reading, we have Policy 9320, Policy 7441, Policies 5710, Policy 5533, Policy 5516, Policy 5512, Policy 5460, Policy 5111, and Policy 2365. For regulation on second reading, we have Regulation 9320 on cooperation with law enforcement agencies, Regulation 7441 on electronic surveillance in school buildings and on school grounds, Regulation 5533 on student smoking, and Regulation 5516 on the use of electronic communication devices. On this regulation, we note that it's being edited to reflect our handbook, and only the high school students, are permitted the use of cell phones during lunchtime. We have job descriptions to be updated, transportation supervisor, bus aide, athletic trainer, and confidential operations administrative assistant. This is a new position, And the confidential part has to do with this employee being responsible for work orders and collecting confidential matters. We review things that were brought up by the board members, such as policy 9163. And among other things, our next policy committee meeting will be on April 8th. And with this, I conclude my report and make a motion to approve items 1 to 4.
Second.
Second.
Questions, Dr. Sainer?
My first question is in regards to policy 8500. There are two options in the policy, bottom of page 15, top of page 16. Neither of them are indicated that we are choosing, but I don't think that's possible. I think we have to choose one.
Correct, and that was a misstep on ours. We're choosing option 2.
Okay, perfect. And then on policy 9163, it talks about on a first offense, the suspension will be from attending the next 2 away events. So how would we enforce a suspension at an away game? Wouldn't a suspension from a home game where we would be in control of the audience be more easily enforced?
Definitely at our home games, it'll be easier to enforce. In speaking to our AD, if an ejection or removal of a player or coach occurs, the official has to file the report and contact the school principal and athletic director to notify them of the incident. The objective is to continue that communication amongst all the ADs. In preparing this specific policy, our AD made sure to meet with all ADs in county so that they're all aligned with the same procedure, same protocol, so that we are able to enforce this whether it's home or an away game. And if a spectator is removed from the event game, the host will call and notify once again the athletic director and the building principal.
Can you describe how that would let's just say I get thrown out for being an obnoxious fan at a sporting event. How would anyone know that I'm Krista Sainer and I'm the one that the email went out about, across the county?
The games are recorded and there are cameras. So what we've done in the past, and someone that can speak to our process, what we've done is we have provided a clip with the fans from the other team to the AD of the administration, as well as say, hey, these are the parents in which we have a specific situation. Or also, if we are able to identify who the student is player, we can then identify that through the coaches as well.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Mr. McCoy?
Sort of piggybacking off of what Dr. Sainer was asking, one of the things that came up during the policy committee meeting, I think you may have alluded to this a little bit, was the need for a universal process at away games for identifying people who might run afoul of this policy, and to Dr. Sanders' point, enforcement. So you had mentioned that Mr. Bullock was going to have a discussion with the other ADs. I'm just wondering if that's happened since
that
we
has
met.
happened. Absolutely,
Okay.
that has happened, and the discussion has been what I just read now. That's how they're going to make sure that they're within compliance, as well as that they're, the suspension or consequences are administered also by the NJSIAA.
So will there be someone at away games that is directed to be the eyes, or are we just going to revert back to film?
We'll revert to film, but as well as with the staffing from the opposing team away. There is, because of the connection between all the ADs and the communication that they have on a monthly basis, they've all agreed on the process so that they are able to hold our spectators accountable in an event of situation like that.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Roll call.
Mr. Acevedo?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Mr. McCord?
Yes.
Ms. Pinellas?
Yes.
Dr. Sainer?
Yes.
Ms. Shower?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes. Finance and Facilities, Ms. Shower.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. It has been a busy time for the Finance and Facility Committee. We met on March 12th, started at 5:30 p.m., and we went a little over and extended past 7 o'clock to about 7:15, 7:20. Location was at the Belmont Building, and present were Mr. Sabagulu, Mr. Jaime, Dr. Sainer, Ms. Acevedo, Susan Schauer, and Scott Miller. We discussed at length the projects that are in progress and updated information about the space utilization plan for the Route 46 building, prior Dover Sport building, as we all know it by, with a confirmed correct purchase price of $1.54 million. Moving forward with that, submitting our paperwork to the state and awaiting word back on that approval of our purchase. We continued discussion of the ROD projects coming up for the HVAC at Dover Middle School, North Dover, with the low bidder being Hannah HVAC Contractor, which is on the agenda tonight for vote. Due to the increased cost, 26 units will be included in this project instead of the original planned 41 units. Dover High School generator project, a low bidder was Manor Electric at $464,000. The generator will be on order and hopefully late winter delivery and installation thereafter. And the replacement of the North Dover Playground mulch remediation project, again, after the weather had cleared and the mulch has continued to be removed, remediation and replacement is now in progress, correct? Because those kids, it's springtime, they've got to get out there and start playing.
Agreed.
We discussed at length the 2025-26 annual school budget as Mr. Sabagul presented to us. The lower amount in anticipated state aid figures presented somewhat of a challenge. After receiving aid over the past 2 years declined a little bit. This was a significant decline. He gave us a full presentation of the tentative budget, which will be presented tonight for a vote by the board, and moves on to the county tomorrow on the 19th. The committee was advised of the many challenges with this budget, with significantly lower state aid, rising health insurance costs, and of course our fluid enrollment is always a challenge, which Mr. Miller also addressed when we did attend the Department of Education hearing. And I do believe that there were other districts that suffered the same challenge, so we're not alone with that. Cost-saving options were discussed between the committee and administration. Committee members posed many questions and concerns regarding the continuation of the planned $12 million sixth grade annex building project, and the timing and the feasibility of doing it now. The budget will utilize the full 2% tax levy and bank capped, and there will be an anticipated tax increase to the average homeowner of a total of $50.81 per month, noting that the $12 million construction of the prefabricated sixth grade annex building is responsible for $25.81 of that $50.81. Committee members continued to be and air their concerns about the impact of the increase on the Dover taxpayer. Lengthy discussion of the timing and need to move forward with this, and taking into account all of the items discussed in the past regarding the referendum were all taken into account. The committee anticipates further discussion tonight when we vote. We also reviewed the Atlantic leasing contract for the copiers, and another copy of that was sent home just today to board members. So that is the, in total, my report. I will move items, or ask to move items 1 through 26 on the agenda, which include the budget, which include the discussion and contract for the sixth grade annex building, which includes several other preschool, or actually transportation contracts, the preschool aid grant, the PEA grant, and I think that's it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Dr. Sainer?
I just wanted to acknowledge and thank Bristol Myers Squibb, Ms. Durso, and the Wolfel family for their generous contributions to our district students.
Anyone else? I had a question. Is this the first time we got the Wolfel Scholarship? I don't recall that.
it's quite generous, and I don't remember ever seeing that before.
Okay, no, it's very generous.
Yeah, we did some research, and we haven't received this money before.
That's great. One of the questions I had, looking through the line items, triggered a memory file bank, and that's where we store our records. So are all our records kept at file bank, or do we
I
still
can take the question if you want.
or do we still store some on premise?
Recent ones we keep it for the auditors. Like last 3 years we have it.
Okay, and then
Especially the business
everything
office.
else is
Yeah,
with file
we
bank.
we send it yearly.
Does that include all the student records? Like if you have to go back and look at?
Some of the student records, as far as I know, they're there, but not all of them.
Okay, so the ancient ones like mine are still there?
That's a tough question. We need to we need to request that record.
All
We
right.
still have them on tablet.
Okay, all right. And the other question I had for our investigator, looking at the dollar amount, I wasn't sure if there were two lines there. Is it just for two investigations? It was $1,324.
So the $1,324 was for 30 investigations in
okay.
February and 15 investigations in March. The February investigations were $800, and then the March was $560. So that's where you get the combined $1,300.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. Thank you. Anyone else?
I just want to make a small correction. Hannah's Mechanical was approved last board meeting for the ROT grant projects. Just want to correct that.
Okay.
Okay.
It's not on tonight's agenda.
It's not on this agenda. Yes.
Okay.
I did have two questions, Mr.
Oh.
Miller. Included in tonight's finance and facility is the anticipated student count and preliminary tuition rate to Mine Hill. So I'm just wondering, the numbers to me seem to be much lower, but again, I don't have the inside experience from the last few years, so I'm just wondering, is the total number lower than it was last year? And was last year's anticipated number reached? Or, because I know sometimes they give us an anticipated number and then we don't meet that number.
Actually, we agree on that number. We check the attendance and we go through with Mine Hill administration and they agree, and they come up with a number. We just do an estimate number. We usually pretty close.
Oh, was it pretty close last year?
Last year, I have to check the records. Yeah.
Okay. And then my second question was in reference to something that I had received several phone calls from the community, and I had to say that I really had no idea what it was, because it's out of our area of management, if for lack of a better word. I know we don't manage the schools, but it's out of our area because it is covered under the preschool grant. But I did find in the bills pay list, Outfront Media, Inc., a charge of $250, $1,800, and $1,800. And when looking to see what Outfront Media was, I could see that it was the new billboard that's on Route 15 that advertises our pre-K. So that pre-K and any decisions and also that amount do not fall under the need for a vote from the board. But the community members that I did hear from found the billboard to be a little bit deceptive, because the first word is free on it. So as we know, there is no cost for preschool here in Dover. And so technically it is free, but it's actually no tuition charge to the families, for the students. So it is free to the families, and there's no tuition, but the Dover taxpayer does pick up the cost of transportation for our preschool. So for the people looking for preschool, it is free, but it's not free to the Dover taxpayer. So I just was asking Mr. Sabagulu, how long is the contract for this billboard, and could we at any point change the wording to be more realistic on the billboard?
I mean, it's free for the parents. That's what the purpose is for. I don't know how we can change it. I mean, we can work on it. But it ends in August. It's a small contract. It was like 6-7 months contract. It didn't start at the beginning of the year, I remember. But I don't have the exact start date, but it ends in August.
So it's 6 or 7 months long, and then,
Yeah.
and the graphic that they use now, it would cost
You can ask
money to
for it
start
if you
all
wanna
over
change
again?
for it, but the purpose is it's like a free for the parents. That's the purpose, that bring the parents, bring their kids.
Okay, all right, thank you for that explanation. And that
Mis-
concludes my report and any questions.
Oh, Mr. McCourt?
Yeah, I have a few. I'll do the easy ones first. Just a note on item 9, there is a 0 missing under architecture and engineering.
Okay,
That-
we'll
that-
fix that type.
yeah.
Item
Um,
9.
The item 13, is that correct that this is a contract for this school year and not the next school year with Patterson?
Fair. Yes,
Okay.
this school year.
So we just didn't have, this is something new, I imagine then?
It's probably a new placement.
Or, yeah. Just seems a little late in the year to be, is this amount for the balance of this school year?
Yeah, this is for this year,
Okay,
24, 25.
okay.
All students come and they go
Right.
during the year.
The generator.
Yes.
The note was made that the hope would be to have it, received by late winter. Was that this winter?
Yeah, February, this winter, yes.
Okay. So we have it already, or?
I mean, after we approve it, they're gonna order it, but they're gonna prepare everything. They're gonna prepare the concrete slab and everything inside. The connection is gonna be made.
Okay.
You're gonna just wait for the generator. When it comes, in a couple of days should be.
So
up and
we
running.
should receive it pretty quickly, once,
Yeah, I mean,
after today?
yeah, actually
Okay.
February.
That was my
There.
my,
Wait, wait.
what-
Yeah, it's
but-
not.
I think
quick,
it
yeah.
seems to me we're
There's-
having February of what year?
This winter.
2026?
This
It's gonna be
coming winter.
26, yeah.
Okay, that was
Yes.
my, because winter's over in 2 days. And
Yes.
I was like,
Sorry
wow.
to interrupt.
Yeah,
Nope,
they're
thank
very
you,
much
because
so.
that was where I was going,
Yeah.
so I appreciate that.
Yeah. They're in like back order. That's
Okay,
why.
yeah, no, that's why I asked, because it was,
Mhm.
I used to be in the business of selling these, so I was a little surprised to hear
Yeah, I wasn't expecting
that it would
long
take
either,
2
so-
days, yeah.
Yeah.
General question regarding the tentative budget. And I'll obviously have more questions about it next month, but I just want to make sure that I'm understanding the numbers correctly. Last year, we needed to raise about 18.5 million in taxes. This year, it's almost 23. In layman's terms, that would equate to a roughly $3.6 million tax increase on our levy. Is that, I'm understanding that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I understood that. Lastly, the annex. Admittedly, this process began under the last board, and my biggest question is, the words modular building are used. Are we talking about trailers in the traditional sense of what a trailer looks like?
No.
Or, okay.
No, I mean, from outside you can't really tell it's trailers or anything. They're gonna bring like separately, and they're gonna merge, and all the siding and everything else gonna look like the regular school. You can't really tell there's a trailer.
So this amount is a purchase price, not a lease price.
Yes, purchase price. It's gonna be ours.
This is going to be
Ours.
a building that will have a foundation and it will never move. It's essentially an
yes.
addition without having to start from scratch.
Yes.
And there's some aspects of the building that will not be modular. There's certain pieces,
Gymnasium's not
the
gonna be
gym,
modular.
the gym for the 6th graders and some other parts of the building. But essentially, the classrooms will be modular, and the plan shows that this will be a long-lasting facility as long as we maintain it.
Is it expandable?
I mean,
If this ends
it's-
up being not enough space in 5 years, could we add a second floor?
No.
We can, I mean, not the second floor, but we can expand. On the
There's-
sides,
there's
like
room to
all the
go a little
buildings is,
further
like,
out.
expandable,
Okay.
yeah, if you want, if there's a space.
Okay. I would, the one thing, I don't know if Finance Facilities has seen this. I would like to see some, if we have mock-ups of this.
Actually, they've seen similar one at South Playing Field.
Okay.
They built the same, but I can share the picture.
Okay.
I can share it again.
I trust
they,
you.
They did
I
the
just,
same.
I just,
yeah,
you
they
know,
did the same thing. Yeah.
the one thing, you know, I want to commend the administration for finding a middle way. Obviously, $69 million was too much. And my biggest concern, having been someone who, and I may be the only board member that experienced this, who learned in trailers in middle school and in high school. I wanted to make absolutely sure that that's not what this was. So thank you for clarifying that. And that is, I believe, all the questions. Yep, that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. McCourt, I went to high school in trailers in the early 70s, and believe me, they were not like the trailers nowadays. So it definitely something that I was not going to want to have again. But I do have a question, and maybe Mr. Krug can answer this question. I know in the past with trailers, there's a limit to how long you can use temporary trailer classroom space, correct?
I think so, but the way this, and I've been talking to the architects just recently a little bit about this project because there's certain applications we have to make that I'm going to be assisting with. And the way they described it to me, they're going to be getting me drawings that we need to submit. But the way they described it to me, they were very careful to say not, you know, it's a modular building. The word building was very important because they explained that, yes, it comes together. Like sometimes they build modular houses now.
Yes.
Where they come together. And the way the architect explained it to me, it is not a temporary structure.
Well, that's what my question was going to be. So if this were a trailer and it was a temporary solution, it would have to have a start and an end date. You couldn't just keep it there forever if it was a trailer to be used as classroom space.
Yeah, I think that's true. There is a shelf. I
Yes.
think the shelf life is probably longer now than it would have been at some point.
Yeah,
but
for example, when we did the middle school construction, the Eastover addition to that building, that trailer, once we were finished with construction, could not be left at that school for anything else, and we moved it up here to North Dover, and it was used for office space, and then eventually it was renovated in classroom space again. But it had to be moved. So I know that there is regulation that states that. So this is a permanent building. It will be on a foundation, and it's not going to move, correct? Great, thank you.
Dr. Sainer?
Thank you, Mr. Miller. I do think Mr. McCourt brought up a good point. I do think for the board members who have not seen as much as the Finance Committee, it would be a good idea to share some of the pictures and floor plans, the schematics that we've seen with the rest of the board. I think that would be good for them, and it might be good for the budget presentation as well, so that the community can see what they're getting with their tax dollars.
Yes.
All the projects is going to be on the budget presentation, but I can also email the sample pictures.
Thank you.
And if you look at the construction that's currently on Route 15 for Dover Tubular Alloys, that is a modular construction with obviously a lot bigger, but they're bringing in the walls, and it goes up quickly, but it enables us to be able to move more quickly on the project so that we can have the space occupied within 2-year period.
Thank you for bringing that up. I think this has been mentioned before, but I just want to ask again. This would be 26-27 school year.
Yes.
We would
September
be
2026.
September 2026. Okay.
Yep. Any other questions? Everybody good? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Acevedo,
Yes.
Ms. Downs,
Yes.
Mr. McCourt,
Yes.
Ms. Pinales,
Yes.
Dr. Sainer,
Yes.
Ms. Shower,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes. Okay, upcoming Board of Education meetings, April 24th rather, is a Thursday. So everyone mark your calendars. It's a Thursday. It's our budget hearing. And then we have a May 13th meeting and June 24th. We have some New Jersey School Board training sessions listed here. And then we have a facility request from the Dover Soccer Club. to use the youth soccer field. And let's see, I'm going to old business. Do we have any old business?
Something that just popped into my head, and I apologize, Mr. Jaime, for not communicating this earlier. I just wondered if you had any updates on your conversations with Mine Hill regarding the, I guess it would be the 26-27 calendar.
I have not at this time. No.
Okay, just check.
So I have one item. We need a board picture. Can we agree to have our board picture taken next month?
Next month, Mr. Jaime?
Or is it too late?
Ms. Valdez is working on a date and get that going for next month. So we're working on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Even if we just use an iPhone?
Yes.
Okay.
We'll work on it. We got
Okay.
it.
Before the school year's up.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any new business? No? Okay, now we're coming to our second public comment portion. The board recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on school matters. To ensure fair and orderly expression of such comment, each statement shall be held to a time period of 3 minutes. Public comments not restricted to items on this agenda shall be entertained for approximately 30 minutes upon the discretion of the presiding officer. For those who wish to make public comment remotely, a Google form was posted on the district website at 6:30 p.m. Remote comments will be read by a member of the Board of Education. The Board of Education will alternate between in-person and online comments. Please understand that public comment portions of our agenda are not structured as question and answer sessions, but rather they are offered as opportunities to share your thoughts with the board. The board may or may not respond to public comments. However, all comments are considered and will be investigated and addressed as appropriate. Please be courteous and mindful of the rights of others when providing comments. Comments may not be abusive, obscene, threatening, or irrelevant. Please understand that students and employees have specific legal and privacy protections. The board is not permitted to respond in public to comments about students or employees. Please be advised that you are commenting at your own risk. Any public comments that are directed at a particular individual or individuals could subject you to legal liability or defamation. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to come forward? Please state your name and address.
Good evening, everybody. John Caniglio, 24 Taylortown Road, Montville. So first I would just like to thank everyone that came out for Read Across America to come to our schools. The students and the staff enjoyed seeing everybody come out and coming into our schools and coming into our classrooms. So thank you for coming out for that, much appreciated. Secondly, my family and I went to also see The Little Shop of Horrors on Friday, which was outstanding. My children had never actually seen the movie or anything, so it was all kind of new to them. And as soon as we got home, they asked if we had the movie, and we busted out the DVD, and it was good. So very well done, excellent play. It was nice to see some former students up there in high school performing, which is awesome. So kudos to everybody that was involved in that thing. That was just totally amazing. Students, staff. Even Mr. Carl down there with the drums and our other staff members that were in the musicians there. It was really fun to see. So thank you to everybody that participated there. My one item that I wanted to bring up tonight was something that we've discussed a couple times, or I've discussed a couple times with the board, and it's something that I would like to discuss another time. It's dual language. So from what I understand, we are going to continue with this dual language program going into 4th grade next year. So currently it's K through 3, and from what I am gathering and hearing, it's going to progress to a 4th grade level. Now, as I stated earlier, 2 months ago or 3 months ago, whenever the last time I spoke about it, I have, and the staff here has very serious concerns about this program. There currently is nothing on the district website about dual language. I'm wondering if the parents even fully understand what this program is, if the board truly understands what this program is, because there is not a lot of information available. And if this is something that we're offering, we should be proud of this. we should be publicizing this, but we have some serious concerns here. And about 2 months ago, we looked at test scores, and I know some members of the public were upset with the test scores. And these students that are in these dual language programs are not doing well, just gonna be honest. And what I would like to see, and I think what the board should be able to see, are results from K through 3 for the students that are currently in dual language and the students who are not in dual language in the same grade level. Because you're gonna see a difference. And this is a serious, serious issue that we need to really look at. And I'm really passionate about this, and I've spoken, as you know, multiple times about this, and we really need to look at this and look at the scores and get some data. Is this working? Because if it's not working, we need to change it. And this is, I would say this is the #1 thing for staff right now. And when we look at test scores and we say, what's happening? Why are we failing? Why are we not being proficient? That's coming down on our staff. And we have to fix this. We have to understand what's happening here, that students can't read in 3rd grade. That's a problem. We need to look at that. Thank you.
And any comments on the Google form? Okay. Anyone else from the public that wishes to speak? Okay, I'm going to close this portion of the meeting. Do you have any comments on that?
No, and I definitely understand that there has been concerns with dual language, you know, and I will share that with the committee that went down to North Plainfield and did the visit. They were very impressed with the results that they were providing in North Plainfield. We were also able to look at data in North Plainfield, how the growth was going, and they've had now the program for about 8 years. And like I mentioned in my superintendent report, you know, we realize that we are doing some good things, and there are other areas that we need to grow in, and we're going to continue to make those efforts as a team to continue to grow our dual language program. And I'll definitely revisit to see to make sure that there is more than enough information out there for our families and our community to be able to read up on it as well.
Thank you. Anybody from the board have any other
I
comments?
have a question. Mr. Jaime, is this, I know that it's been, the dual language program has been in motion for, this is our 3rd year or 4th year?
Going into our 4th year.
Is this the first year in which students will be taking the first standardized testing
For 3rd grade.
for 3rd grade?
Correct.
Okay, so maybe this year we will, early next year, we will see the results of these tests and we can compare.
Correct.
Okay.
So I guess the question is also with the iReady data, is that, you know, is that showing growth at the same rate for the students in the dual language as opposed to those not?
I would have to sit and look at comparison. I know there's been some growth. I just wouldn't have that. I wouldn't want to
Oh,
misspeak
yeah.
without having all that information with me.
Okay. All right. Anything else anybody has? Have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Have a second? A second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, have a good night, everyone.
You too.